Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got another paranormal video to share with you guys. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I think I did two during December when I was doing Vlogmas, but normally we do these once a week, so we got a bit of catching up to do, but we're here now and we're gonna do it. So today I'm gonna be telling you guys, I think it's 5 sort of short little stories about different haunted bodies of water. There are 2 kind of ghost story settings that I really love. One is haunted houses. Now, of course, I only love that in theory. I wouldn't want to live in one. But the idea of a haunted house I find very interesting. Just, you know, tragedy, containing spirits, not letting them go. I find that very interesting. And another is water. I've done a few videos on water on this channel before. Ghost ships, things like that. And it's just, water in itself is so interesting because it's so dangerous, but also so necessary. You know, it keeps us alive, but you know, you can drown in it and your boat can sink in it. It can do damage to your house. It's just such an interesting juxtaposition of things that it can do. So today we're talking about 5 bodies of water all around the world that have horrifying stories attached to them involving ghosts. So the first actually involves Lake Superior, which Lake Superior is one of the Great Lakes, which are I think the biggest freshwater bodies of water in the world. There's Lake Superior, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, and Lake Huron. Took me a second there to remember those other 2. But anyway, this story involves Lake Superior. Now, back in the 1970s or 1980s, I think the mid-1970s, there was a ship called the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, and it sank. It sank right to the bottom. I think it was 500 feet to the bottom, and the 29 crew members that were on the ship were lost. They were all lost. Nobody survived this shipwreck. And I don't know what caused the ship to sink the way it did, but it just kind of sank like a stone, taking everyone with it. Now, about 10 years after that happened, so we'll say the mid to late 80s, all of a sudden, multiple sources started saying that they were seeing and noticing the ship, the very ship that had sunk, sailing once again in Lake Superior. When you look on the internet about this particular ghost story, there are lots of different explanations for what people are seeing. The CNN did a whole report on it, how it's like mist mixed with lighthouse lights that are creating the effect, but it's kind of odd that all of a sudden, 10 years after the accident, people out of the blue start noticing her sailing once again. The second story that I want to tell you guys about today takes place in White Rock River in Texas. Now, legend has it that in the 1930s there was a boating accident that involved a young girl, like 20, 21, 22-year-old girl, and she drowned in the accident. And very tragically. It's so sad. It's so sad. Growing up, just as a side note here, growing up on an island in Newfoundland, you know, I think everyone who grew up there has a story about someone they knew, one of their peers who drowned, and it's just something so tragic that really hits me in a different sort of way because of, you know, the people I have known. And it gives me the chills hearing stories like that. So apparently, close to the river, there's a place called the White Rock River Park. And that's where her ghost is seen most frequently. She's seen there looking very sort of chaotic and confused, sad. She's wearing a dress. From her time period, it looks like a 1930s era dress, soaking wet. She's drenched. And she'll approach people and she'll ask for a ride home and she'll give them an address. And the people that agree, you know, they get in the car and they start driving her home. And eventually, you know, they'll look in the rearview mirror and she'll be gone. And of course that takes them very much aback, and they'll pull over, you know, startled. And when they go into the back, they notice that the seat is wet, as though someone in a soaking wet dress had been sitting there. And I guess this became such a big story, and that so many people and witnesses were reporting this, that the ghostly encounters were written about and reported about in Dallas area newspapers in the 1960s. So very interesting to think of. Next up is a natural sort of pool of water in Hong Kong, and this pool has become known as the Bride's Pool. And the legend for this story says that on the way to her wedding, a young woman in her wedding dress, all ready for the ceremony, ended up drowning in this body of water. And it's an area that has become so known for its tragic accidents that the road that sort of runs along atop, like above the pool, has become known as the Deadly Curve. And I guess when you're driving along, there's a turn, and then a lot of curves go off and into the water. So much so that it got the nickname the Deadly Curve. That they've seen a woman in full traditional wedding gown gear sitting by the water brushing her hair. And there's such a sadness to that story as well. Just, does she know? I always wonder, like, do they know? You know, ghosts that are stuck in places, do they know that they're passed on? Are they confused? I hope they're not confused. Or like upset about being stuck there. That's what I always think about. I don't know which would be worse, knowing or not knowing. Probably knowing. Yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think it'd be worse knowing that you're a ghost, or not knowing that you're a ghost? Anyway, the next body of water we're going to talk about is called Sacko River in Maine. It's either Sacko or Sacko. I don't know. So we're going to call it Sacko. Anyway, so this river has a curse attached to it. And this is a place where a lot of people love to go. It's a very popular vacation spot where people love to go tubing, and they love to go fishing. And just, you know, you can picture there's this beautiful place where people love to go and have fun and spend their relaxation downtime at. But anyway, there's a curse. Of course there is. Isn't there always? Anyway, so legend has it for this body of water in Maine. Okay, hang on you guys. I'm getting creeped out because my dog is sitting on the couch beside me, and every so often she just cries for no reason. I don't know if she doesn't like what I'm talking about or what, but it's freaking me out. Anyway, so legend has it that in 1675 a group of drunken English sailors came across the chief of the Sacko tribe and his family. Now they were drunk and probably unruly, and for whatever reason they end up snatching the baby away from the chief and his family. And for some horrible reason, they get it in their heads and they throw the baby into the river. Now, the baby doesn't die immediately. You know, they're able to, the chief and his family are able to get the baby out. But 3 days later, the baby dies. And it's then that the chief puts a curse on the river, saying that every year, 3 white people their lives will be taken when they're in the river. Now, of course, nobody knows, at least from what I could tell, if the body count stacks up to what he had threatened and cursed the river with. But they were able to track it back and see that this chief did exist, that his baby did die. So chances are he at least tried to put the curse on it. So it's definitely creepy. And what is wrong with people? Not meaning the chief, meaning these drunken sailors that they came across. What would possess somebody to do that? Anyway, the final body of water that I want to talk about today, and if you do like hearing these water stories, let me know. There are a ton. For every body of water you can think of, there's pretty much a ghost story attached to it. But these were the ones that stuck out to me the most today. So the next is Devil's Pool in Australia. Now, the Devil's Pool is an absolutely gorgeous body of water in Australia, and this is a natural pool created by a bunch of boulders that sort of surround it, and the water just came to be in the middle. But again, it's said to be cursed. Now, what this one has supposedly been cursed by is that many years ago, an Aboriginal woman named Ulana drowned herself in the pool after a very heart-wrenching breakup with her lover, her partner. They had a separation, and she just couldn't handle it, and so she drowned herself. Now, since then, rumor has it that she is still forever there searching for him. Her ghost is just in the water, around the water, forever searching. And it's said that her ghost is known to lure, once again, young men to their deaths. Now, of course, there's no way to know for sure why it is that young men are dying in this body of water, whether it's because of Ulana or whether it's something else altogether. But in the past 50 years, 16 young men have drowned in that water. That's pretty extreme. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to end this video now so my dog will stop crying. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a little spook up the back of your spine. And yeah, let me know if you'd like to see more videos on haunted bodies of water. And I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll see you on Friday with another book talk. Bye, guys.